I'm traveling light now. I've set my sights now on the road that lies ahead. The view is clearing, the call I'm hearing to the road that lies ahead. All those years I lived in fear are gone. I said goodbye. I put my faith in wisdom, grace, and life. There is a map there, it's one we all share, to the road that lies ahead. No room for sorrow in my tomorrow, on the road that lies ahead. I may be walking out that door into a stormy night, but I don't care, I'm going where my own sun shines, my own sun shines. I'm traveling light now. I've set my sights now on the road that lies ahead, on the road that lies ahead, on the road that lies ahead. I'm traveling light now. Good morning, everyone. This is Reverend Kate Holmes. Good to see you all here this morning. Thank you for joining us at the Austin Center. It is always a privilege and an honor to be back and to share the music and share the whatever's going on in my world that is, I hope, a lesson and maybe an inspiration to you all. The road that lies ahead, as we're talking about the steps that we take, the road that lies ahead was written many years ago, and it was inspired as I was getting ready to move from Athens, Georgia to Austin, Texas. And it was a process, as the steps that we take and the letting go and the trusting and the surrendering. This was a big move for me. I had been in the Athens, Georgia area for 12 years. I had discovered at the very latter part of those 12 years, I had discovered Science of Mind. And I knew that my path, I found what I needed to find. It was time. It was time for me to find this teaching. I was ready for it. And I was making a lot of changes very quickly, or so it seemed. Or I was in agreement, I was in alignment with that particular iteration of my soul's journey. And I knew it was time to move on. And it was a big move, as I said. It was the first time in my adult life that I was moving somewhere a long way away from home, without a partner, without a job, without anything else. And it was, the whole world was in front of me. And it was exciting and it was terrifying. But I knew it was time to go. And as soon as I said yes to that spirit, everything opened up for me to get there. Forget from Georgia to Texas. And the idea that we get a one and done in the steps that we take is like that was just the beginning of a whole new journey for me. We do that all the time. We do it every single day in our lives. The first thing that we have to do in these steps that we take, first of all, is getting in alignment with that, is saying yes. Saying yes is usually the biggest, hardest step to take, is it not? We have all been called to different things throughout the courses of our lives, and some maybe seem minor. But those little bitty things that we say yes to are the practice steps that allow us to trust even more when the big thing comes in and says, okay, it's time to go. And we go, no, not me. But we've had some practice. Or we keep putting it off and we keep putting off and saying no until we finally get the thing that says, it is time for you to do this. Do it now. Or else. I mean, it's the proverbial cosmic 2x4. It's all of those things that we get until we finally get our, as Emerson says, our bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits to cooperate with this beautiful thing that is at the ready in every moment of our lives, waiting to give us everything that we need to take the next step. Oh my goodness, what a thing. So we say yes, or we think we know how to say yes, but we're not exactly sure what direction are we going. The thing with the steps that we take is the first thing is to just simply align. It's that first step that we have in our spiritual mind treatment of accepting or agreeing with or getting in alignment with the fact that there is one power, there's one presence. And the second step being that presence exists, lives in, through, as each one of us. We have it within us. I think step 2 is the most challenging part for those of us who were probably taught that might be a little bit of heresy to say that God was in me. But we practice that too. We take the steps to practice. We move into affirmations. We meditate. We listen. We question. Is this really true? Does this resonate for me? As I said, when I found Science of Mind, it was a big, like, oh my gosh, here are my people. Here are my people. Here is my tribe. I've been looking for this all my life. And I was in my 30s at that point. But something, that alignment with head, heart, soul, body, it was a physical sensation. When we are in alignment, it is not a mental thing. It's not a linear, okay, I'm thinking about this and I'm going to make it happen and I'm going to align. It is an allowing. It is not a force, but it is a feeling sense of a love force within us that moves us, that will keep moving us. Alignment, as Chris Franken says in The Call of Intuition, alignment is a vibration, a movement of energy that feels grounded and enlightened and propels you gracefully forward toward your values. Well, what are my values? What are our values? Values are the things, whether we are conscious of them or not, are the things that drive every decision that we make in our lives. If we look at it from the metaphysical, the mechanics of it, all we have to do is look at the conditions of our lives to see where we place a lot of our value. Are we aligned, or do we value struggle? Or do we value joy? Do we value being compassionate? Do we value holding ourselves in, not connecting, being overly self-sufficient? Do we value beauty? This is a beautiful place to take in a meditation, to think on that for a little bit. I mean, really consider what are my values? Not just the ones that we would like to operate from. Those are also really important, and we need to focus on them, but we have to get underneath. Well, where am I? What is my operating system right here in this moment? And am I living it? In Thomas Troward's work, there are the powers: light, life, love, peace, power, beauty, joy. Those are really like the underpinnings of the. There's those nebulous things that we can't identify exactly what they are. We can't put them in anything that anyone else would understand except our feeling sense and our experience, our felt experience of them. So we look to those. When I have coaching clients, I remember one in particular. Her overarching value was beauty, and unconsciously, in a lot of ways, everything she did in her life included beauty in it. She loved to garden. She loved when she would have a dinner party. She loved to set a beautiful table. She made sure that when she went out, not that she had to be all made up and decked out like she was going to the opera, but it was a self-care, a self-love thing that said, my clothes are neat and tidy, and my hair is tidy, and I look nice when I go out. I like to be beautiful. What she felt to her was beautiful, not a definition, an outward world definition of what she thought beauty was. It was her inner beauty. That same person also had a value of community and family and bringing people together in joy. She loved throwing those dinner parties. She loved it when there was people coming over and everything was set and there were candles and light and beauty and conversation, loving, fun, joyful conversation, and people bringing people together that may not have ever met before that dinner party. So those are the kind of values that we look at. And everything then, when we're clear on those, it helps us make clearer decisions that are in alignment with those values. And when we are in alignment with those values, that is when we know our highest self, that God self within us, is bringing the things to support everything like it. And also bring the things that don't look like it. Our psyche, our subconscious, when we are in our deepest alignment, our subconscious will bring up all the things that are not in alignment with those values. Not to punish us, not to challenge us, not to knock us off course, but to show us where we have work to do in our healing. And show us where we have some work to do in order to keep our evolution moving in that upward spiral. Eckhart Tolle says, when the basis of your actions is inner alignment in the present moment, your actions become empowered with the intelligence of life itself. And in the Raymond Charles Barker reading this morning, we are intelligence, acting intelligently. We have been given that capacity to work with divine intelligence and make intelligent choices for ourselves. Carolyn May says in Sacred Contracts, once we are awakened to something, a truth or an injustice, we are held accountable and must take action according to that truth. We cannot ignore or suppress that awareness. There is no going back. So when we wake up to a new level of awareness, of self-awareness, of the divine speaking through us and as us saying, come on, I want to express this through you. Come on, let's get on board. We know it. Again, it's an alignment. Mind, body, soul, we feel it, that sense. It's an experience that we go, oh, yes, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And we can fight it, as I said, Ernest Holmes says in Living the Science of Mind, when we fail to live in accord with the divine, we bring suffering on ourselves. All suffering is simply a matter of being out of alignment with our highest self. Alignment, getting our values clear, operating from that. The next step of the steps we take is the intention or the decisions that we make to live that way. If every decision we make is based on our values and on that alignment, as I said, everything flows beautifully. We set an intention to live from that place. Things flow beautifully, and it's a practice. It's not something we do once and we're cool. We know everything's lined up. It's meted out. We can see it from start to finish. Not the case, as we all well know. It is a spiral. It is that spiral of becoming, the steps we take to our highest expression, our highest becoming. The intention is based through the power of love. That's the bottom line. That's the power in the presence of God, and knowing that that power, the greatest power in the world, is love. We operate from that place and everything aligns. Might not feel like it sometimes. So this doesn't look like love. This looks like chaos. And there is that old saying, breakdown before a breakthrough. And what it's doing is pulling it apart. Ernest Holmes says this, in transforming, it's from Creative Living, in transforming energy into power, we are uniting an invisible essence with an invisible law, which is the way the universe operates. If we identify ourselves with the source, then our word establishes eternal harmony, transforms everything, rearranges everything to our benefit. It is an act of complete surrender, there's that word again, of the human to the divine without the loss of the human. A complete inflowing of the divine into the human. But we have to let go of what we think things should be and allow them to be what they are. Specifically for us, every single one of us gets those guidances and those words and those inspirations every single day that is keeping us between the shore, from bumping into the big rocks, or as you might want to say, it keeps us in our lane. Keep us in our own lane. Alignment, intention, deciding. And we can do all of that from our meditation seat. It's the action step, which is the third step that we take. And the expansion of our becoming is activating, taking the action on it, doing the thing that scares us because it's different, because it's new, because it's not familiar, because we want to hang on to the idea that, oh, I tried this in the past and it didn't work, or it was painful, or somebody criticized me, or somebody made fun of me, or whatever it was. Doesn't matter. We don't activate anything until we take that first step. And the beauty of these three steps is that we don't always do them in order. They are interwoven with each other. As soon as we make a decision, we set an intention, we go right back to, oh, I'm doing this because I want to experience beauty in my life. I want to experience peace or joy. Oh, well, wait a minute. Now here's this experience coming up that doesn't feel joyful. What do? Oh, I go back to my intention. What is my intention? Oh, and then here's another piece of guidance that drops in. This beautiful dance that we do with the divine. And we go, okay, all right, so not so much feeling so much joy and beauty right now. Here's my intention. That must mean there's another step. I have to do that action step. I have to listen to the guidance. I have to surrender my personality, my ego that thinks it knows. And I have to get quiet and I have to listen. I have to be still and then know. Ted Decker in the Forgotten Way meditation says, everything we do and think and say aligns us with either darkness or light, love or grievance. Thus, everything is a spiritual practice, whether we are aware of it or not. We are constantly in every moment aligning with one way of being or another. The choice is ours to make in each moment of the day. We know that thought is creative. And it's not just, well, maybe this one's creative and that one's creative or not, or maybe that one's not, or maybe if I focus all these thoughts over here, those are creative, but not these other ones. Every thought, backed up by the feeling, backed up by the belief behind it, is creating our alignment. We have choice. We have that choice to say, no, I don't want to go this way. We can have the human emotion. We must have the human emotion. We were built with them for a good reason. Not to hang on to them, but to help us experience that greater expression of God, the dynamics of being human. But we have to have them and let them go, and not let the emotions have us. And that is that moment, in every moment of, okay, I have some grief right now, or I'm really angry right now. And instead of saying, anger is a bad feeling, I'm not supposed to have it, it makes me a bad person if I'm angry, or I look weak or vulnerable if I cry, it's simply giving ourselves the moment to say, I'm going to have the feeling, I'm not going to live here permanently. I'm going to let it do what it needs to do to teach me what it's here to teach me, and let it move on. And it clears the way. It clears the way for the next idea and the next idea and the next solution, the next bit of guidance and the next bit of support to drop in beautifully. We have our part, our human part, to act on those things. To act from them from a place of love. Asking ourselves, what would love do in this moment? In any moment. What would love do? What would the highest and best thing be here for me to do? So that I'm expanding on love, as Ted Decker says, aligning with one way of being or another. Everything is a spiritual practice. Everything we think, say, and do aligns us with darkness or light, love or grievance. There's also a very familiar passage from A Course in Miracles that talks about that. And everything we do is either a call for love or a cry for love. And there's a very different energetic in the two. The call for love is, I'm seeing it around me, I'm in it, I'm being it. The cry for love is, I'm not seeing it, I need to get it. I need to get love from someone or something, rather than the internal work of, it's present. It's present, and I don't ever have to worry that it's not there. My connection to the divine is solid. And when I know that, I radiate love. I radiate love. So when I get quiet and still enough, that's the key. Is giving ourselves, but my life is so busy and I have so many things to do. I can't get quiet and I can't get still and I can't listen. It's like, no, it takes a split second, a practice of many split seconds over time that you can tune in and key in no matter what is going on around you. To just breathe and say, okay, what is the highest thing for me to do right in this moment? Practice not going to fear, not going to judgment, not going to blaming, not looking at the outside and saying, looking at the conditions and saying it's their fault, but looking within and saying, where can I find peace in this moment? Where can I see the good in this moment? And it's not always going to be immediate, and it's not always going to be like, oh, there's world peace right now, right this second. But there's peace within. And when we have that, the next step is revealed. The next piece of information of what is mine to do. Where am I to go? Who am I to speak to? It takes a lot of trust. It takes a tremendous amount of trust. But we have the choice in every moment to look at the feeling not as something that's going to take us down, but as a teacher. And if there's a pattern to it, that's where we really need to pay attention. If there's a pattern to it, we can go back to step one. What are my values in this? If my values are about living a peaceful life? Where am I contributing or exacerbating not having peace in my life? It's our spiritual practice every single day. And our willingness, that's the thing. Our willingness to surrender, our willingness to trust, our willingness to just let go and be in the moment. Gary Zukov says in this Seat of the Soul, every decision you make either moves you towards your personality or towards your soul. And you get to decide which one, of course. Of course you do. So the whole process, as I said, it's subtle, it's sublime, it's a dance, it's a cooperative, interconnected relationship with the divine. And if we look at it as a playful thing, if one of our values is to have this be a joyful life experience throughout the rest of our time on this planet, we can set that intention. We can make that decision to say, I am going to live in joy. My relationship with the divine is, I'm affirming, is joyful. And it's amazing what happens when we do that. We make that affirmation, we make that decision. It begins to unfold. Because everything, my value, this is mine personally, my word this year, one of my words this year in 2024 has been joy. And I've made that decision on a daily basis, even when things seem like they're absolutely upside down and going sideways. And I'm finding joy in my relationship. The playfulness, spirit is incredibly playful. And approaching life from that way has been delightful. It really has. So, as I said, either a call for love, a cry for love, our personality or our soul, all of these seeming paradoxes, we have choice. And it's all about coming from love, as I said. We can take off the masks. We can get down to the heart, the nitty-gritty of ourselves, knowing that every single one of us is divine, absolutely divine. And if you don't quite yet believe that, let that be your practice. Let that be a value that you focus on. I can guarantee you, you will begin to see things that prove it again and again and again, that you are absolutely valued, divine, sacred. So in that, let's take a moment to just take that into a spiritual mind treatment. Affirming, knowing that there is that one presence, that presence today I'm calling love. Love with a capital L. Moving in and through and as me and everyone in this service, everyone that watches this service, everyone on the planet. I know this. I affirm this. And as I surrender and trust and open myself to that truth, I feel it. The lived experience of the energy of love, the energy of life with a capital L, the energy of God, Spirit, the universe, moving through me, landing right smack dab in the center of my heart, and expanding it, breathing into it, trusting it, breathing me. And so I affirm this for each of us, for all of us, for everyone on this planet. That light is never extinguished. That love is always unconditional and available because it resides, it exists, it lives, it expresses in each of us and everything. So we are not ever, ever separate from us. So I affirm this knowing. I affirm that this spark in each of us, with every breath that we take, that spark is ignited and expands until there is so much love that it overrides the personality, the fear, the worry, the doubt, and instead just washes, absolutely washes everyone to just whatever level it can be. There's an opening, and I see that and I know that there is an opening for the minds, all of the minds of this planet that are a part of that one mind, that there is a glimmer of a realization that says we are indeed absolutely connected, all one, and we can let the other stuff go. So, in feeling this, in knowing this, in trusting this, surrendering to it and allowing what already exists in that one mind, I can let go of these words into the law that takes that idea, that belief, that knowing, that law that only says yes, only knows yes. And knowing it is so, give incredibly overflowing gratitude for knowing it is so. I simply affirm by saying, and so it is. Everybody's got a story. Lord knows I've got mine. All our pain and all our glory, all the masks we hide behind. I'm standing here in wonder, my faith in things unseen, holding back or diving under. There is no in between. Let me reset. Hang on. Thanks for the message. All right. Is that better? Okay. Everything's a lesson. Everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love, return to love. Oh, return to love, return to love. Deconstructing my defenses and dismantling my pride, making peace and mending fences, who I am inside. When I let myself go deeper, love is closer than my breath, my master and my keeper, are beating right here in my chest. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Everything's a lesson, and everyone's a mirror, in everything I do. My heart is open and my mind is clear. Now I'm asking you to return to love. Return, return to love. Return to love. Return, return to love. Return to love. Return, return. Return to love. Return, return to love. Return, return to love. Return, return to love.